Dennis, stock movements, it's a bit of a problem looming there.
Yes, Rob. At this time of the year, many arable farmers run sheep, store lambs normally, and of course sometimes they have to move them on the country roads. And we've just noticed, and it's quite concerning, that a lot of the motorists now perhaps are not from the country, that are moving out, living in the country, and not used to driving through stock or understanding the things that can happen when farmers are bringing stock out driveways onto the roads, and their dogs are not all $5,000 dogs that really have a mind of their own. And when you shear sheep, of course, they become quite a bit faster than when they had the wool on. They really take off and hard to control. And farmers are out there with the yellow lights, the beacons going, and people standing out there, and the motorists come hurtling along at 100 k's an hour and just have been desensitised to the flashing lights. Basically, flashing lights to them seems to be a sign to go faster.
It's in the old days we were very user-friendly when it came to mobs of sheep, because there must have been more of them, perhaps.
Well, I think so, Rob, and I think there's an old law that, where they used to drove stock to the sale yards and so forth, where stock have the right of way, and we've completely forgotten all of those things. But the erratic behaviour of sheep and dogs and people and motorists are not a very good mix, and somebody's going to get killed, or animals killed, cars damaged. It's just going to happen, and I just ask people to respect. People don't sit on motorbikes and utes with flashing lights outside gateways
Because they're bored.
Because they're bored. They don't. They mean something, and read that caution. And we do go slower for roadworks because we've been conditioned to it, and perhaps because there's a traffic cop maybe just watching too, and they can get some good cops exceeding those roadwork speeds because they're quite low. But the same thing applies with farmers with their warnings. They're not there for a joke, they're there for a reason, and for the safety of everybody concerned, please slow down.
Bottom line is the farmer, the shepherd, whatever, is going to try to shift the sheep to one side so you can drive through.
Well, absolutely. That's right, Rob, too. Some people have absolutely not a clue in the world how to drive through stock. There's grass at the sides of the road. Yes. Normally, the sheep will not graze on the tar seal. They go to the side. So, if you stick to the centre,
I'm laughing because you are so right. I mean,
the mind images, absolutely. And then, of course, sometimes motorists avoid the sides of the road because they're going to get stuck.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so do avoid the side of the road because you can get stuck in some heavy country. So stick to that middle, ease your way through. The farmer will understand what you're doing. He'll help you out. He'll send the dog through the middle or around them and force them onto one side of the road for you. Just work with the people.
We've had a lot of stubble fires. Have we still got a problem with people panicking?
We have really, Rob. It's getting to the stage now where some farmers who, burning of stubble crops, as long as it's not in the designated close proximities to a couple of towns that have been identified, is still a legitimate and legal practice, albeit that the farmer has to have a smoke management plan filled out. He has to talk to neighbours. He has to respect smoke going over roads. But guess what? If the wind changes, farmers are pretty good. They haven't got control of that. And so things do change occasionally, but everybody's running around with a cell phone now, and the do-gooders and the people who think they're doing the right thing are almost causing harassment. And those volunteer firemen that are out there, 24 hours, they're not on a shift. They have to give up their job or jump out of their beds and go chasing fires. Sure, so don't disturb them and annoy them when it's a legitimate fire. And recently we had one that was probably the safest stubble fire we've ever had. The fire brigade turned up at the road, lights blaring, and we're thinking, oh, we're criminals, there's something wrong. The fire chief walks down the paddock. Here I am with a 3,000 litre sprayer with water in it, ready to douse anything that may have happened. 11 metre fire break, and the fire chief says to me, "Nothing wrong here, is there?" I said, "No, the only thing that's wrong here is you guys have had to leave your jobs, run away, spend hours chasing smoke, and really, have you got the name of the person who rang it in? And I said, yes. Right. I said, charge them with public nuisance.
No, fair comment. Fair comment.
Absolutely, and there was 5 fires going that day, and I think the fire brigades, between the 2 local fire brigades, went to every one, because people panic, they don't understand, and it's just too easy to dial 111 thinking they're being good. Well, actually they are being potentially, not always, a public nuisance.